If you need to replace your SIM tray or your micro SD tray, then lift this ribbon connector up and being careful not to damage any components nearby. And it's held on with double-sided tape, so insert your blade here and just push it along until eventually it separates and you can lift that away and replace that. If you're replacing the screen, we need to remove all the components that are attached to the metal frame. So we start by disconnecting the ribbon connectors at the top. This one's for your earpiece, power LED and your volume switches. So we unplug that. This connector's for your secondary camera and your proximity sensor. So lift it up. And coming down to the bottom, got the main screen connector. So fold that back. And we've got a single black screw to undo at the bottom. It's the only one there, so you can't get it mixed up. And we've got the antenna connection here. Now when you disconnect this, try not to lever from this side because it pushes it up at an angle. So if you lift it off from this side, it doesn't put any stress on the plug. So carefully lift this out from the channel and come all the way down to the top of the phone. And this little circuit's held on with double-sided tape. So carefully get your screwdriver in there and lift that up and put that aside. Now we can lift the main board out. So carefully lift the camera and just ease the main board up away from the body. Now you need to replace the camera. That's quite straightforward. Lift the ribbon connector up, just gently lift it up, and then you can replace the camera. Offer your replacement up and line it up as best you can and plug that in. This is the secondary microphone at the top of the phone. This is your power switch and various connections for antennas. This is your main microphone at the bottom of the phone and your micro USB socket. On the other side, these are two antenna connections listed as W1 and W2 on the back cover. I think this provides external antennas for the radio, GSM radio and possibly GPS. And the LED flash is fixed to the board. The vibrating module can be removed by using a pointed tool and just insert it in there and gently lift it up and then carefully ease the ribbon connector off the board. It's double-sided tape again. Just get your screwdriver in there, let's lift it up. There you go. Put that aside. And here is a microphone gasket. You may not get this with a new screen, so you might have to lift this out and then put that into your new screen. It's got a little tag at the bottom there so you can't get it around the wrong way. Coming up to the top, we've got the secondary camera and the proximity sensor. So undo this silver screw. And it's quite a bit different from the others, so you can't get mixed up. And carefully lift the secondary camera and the proximity sensor out from the case. Then we've got the earpiece, power LED and volume connectors. Now to remove these, you want to push this switch out from the back. So just get your screwdriver in here and just push that out, top, bottom and middle, and you'll find that comes out reasonably easy. When you put it back in, make sure you put the slope towards the back of the phone. To release the volume switches, insert a thin blade and carefully lift them away from the body. Try and keep the double-sided tape on the switch itself. Once you're happy that's released, come round and lift the ribbon cable up. Gently lift it up towards the earpiece, and there's another moisture sensor just at the top here. Come all the way along, just releasing the ribbon. Eventually you should find that lifts out reasonably easy. Now if your new screen doesn't come with this metal chassis, you'll need to use heat to release the screen from the frame and then put the new screen back in. I'll try and make a video of this in the future. You may have to switch over this little gasket here if your new screen doesn't come with that. And the power switch, if you need to switch that over, then push out from the bottom here. Let's give it a good push and that'll come out. There you go. And again, when you replace it, make sure the slope goes towards the back of the phone. Push that back in again. There you go. So for reassembly, start by offering up the volume switch into the casing. So line that up as best you can. Put that into place so the switches line up nicely with the holes in the case there. Once you're happy that's in place, move this ribbon cable so it lines up with the little pin on the case there. Then offer up the power LED to the case, and then put the earpiece back in and make sure that ribbon cable's pushed down, and finally make sure this little pin's lined up with the ribbon connector, and just give that a gentle push into place. Now we can replace the volume switch. So make sure the slope of the switch goes towards the back of the phone, and just offer that up into place and make sure that feels okay. Now we can replace the secondary camera and proximity sensor. So offer up the camera into place and the proximity sensor. Once you're happy that's down, take that large silver screw and just do that up finger tight. Now we can place the vibrating module, so offer that up into its hole and making sure that the two little pins line up on the case there. Give that a good push, make sure it's stuck down. Now we can replace the main board. So start by offering up the main camera into the top, hold that ribbon cable back and just carefully bring that down into place. Bring it down all the way and we'll replace that small black screw in the bottom there. Now we can reconnect the main screen ribbon. Let's put that back into place. And the volume and earpiece ribbon and your secondary camera. Just line it up as best you can and put that into place. Once you're happy they're all connected, we can put the SIM tray back on again. So line up the holes in the SIM tray with the holes in the case. Once you're happy they're all lined up, give it a gentle push, but don't push too hard on these pieces because you'll bend the casing. Just push around the edge just to stick it down, and then plug that ribbon back in again. Now we need to replace the antenna cable. So start by offering up this circuit at the top here, and you've got two little holes that line up with pins on the case. So make sure they line up and just gently push that down. Don't push too hard, just to get a double-sided tape stuck down. Then bring the cable down into this channel, just gently pushing it down as you come along. Lift that little bit of sticky up, get the cable in there, put that sticky back down again. Now take your time when you reconnect this, line it up as best you can. It can be a bit tricky, but line up that head so it's nice and square, and then push it back down. If it's down properly, you'll see it sits nice and flat. I think it might be for Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And make sure that cable goes back down underneath that circuit board there. There you go. And now we can replace the loudspeaker and headphone assembly. So offer that up to the top and push that down into place. Once you're happy that's pushed in, offer up this ribbon connector as best you can, plug that in. Just a final check to make sure everything's plugged in and in place. And now we can replace the back cover. So offer that up and push that down into place. There's a few clips at the bottom here, push them down, and now you can replace those 10 Phillips screws. You can skip this stage by clicking the link at the top of the video.